Page 412. When you, Earth human being, in silent hours once attempt to think of nothing and to be without any tension, then you make the realization that this seems impossible to you. Unstoppably, so it seems to you, thoughts intrude into you, which you do not wish for, and which you have not called for. Always standing in the foreground for you are those thoughts which move your everyday life and which, for you, make any regulation in your lines of thought impossible, like the murky pool of a bubbling mass, which constantly mixes incessantly. Within you, this process is created by your hasty restlessness, which you display in all concerns, the restlessness within yourself, because you do not live in consonance with the laws. Through your misstep towards the external values, you have lost your inner calmness, your self-sublimity, and your inner dignity. Thereby, you are devoid of all your own innermost values and powers, which you can only thereby regain by directing your seeking and striving inward again, to your spiritual values residing within you, which you so irrationally suppress. If you want to find yourself again, then you are in need of the very first values of the inner calmness. Therefore, you must be striving to attain dignity within yourself by making the truth your own and making it permanent within yourself. Therefore, connect your thoughts in your daily thinking with the values directed towards creation, because this thinking form alone leads to the culmination point. As soon as you bring your thoughts into motion, very distinct nerve centers in your brain are put into function, which hitherto have slumbered and which, through the thinking, are put into a state of arousal. Through this, new thought impulses flow uninterruptedly into the brain and thus into the consciousness, and the thoughts begin to race, as you like to call it. However, you are not able to control this racing, because on the one hand, it has become a habit for you, and on the other hand, it forms the might factor of that, which unnecessarily preoccupies you continuously in highest measure, namely, your prosperity and adversity of the everyday life in material respects. Behold, human being of the earth, if you seek your peace within the inner of yourself, you have to dispossess yourself of the burdensome thoughts of the everyday life. However, you cannot do this in the manner that you try to wrench these from yourself with Gewaltsamkeit, and the form that you seek refuge in false meditative exercises, or even in suggestive and autogenic teaching applications. But if you do so nevertheless, you only flee into a fantasy world created by yourself, which presents illusions of images of the light, of the freedom, of the peace, of the love, and the harmony, which you assume to be genuine meditation liberations, which for you, however, in truth, are deceptions full of lies, created from your own wishful constructs, as they are taught to you by false masters of the falseness meditation. If you, therefore, want to attain the peace within the inner of yourself, then start thoroughly at the beginning of all teaching, which is the teaching of the Spirit, beginning at the beginning. As such, it is given to you again in a new form, so you engage yourself in it in good measure at its beginning. Therefore, work out in logical forms of thinking the truth in all its values, as it is given to you in its values, so that you are logically able to tread the way of the evolution, through which you first become capable of the meditation when you, in your knowledge, have reached the level of this power. Consider, however, human being of the earth, The way there is long, arduous, and far. Wound-tearing thorns line the path to the success, which leads steeply uphill, however, which is why you also must practice climbing. Therefore, think, Earth human being. Your thinking must be filled with love, because through this, also your feelings and the Gemüt get into swinging waves of love. Swinging waves, no. Swinging waves are periodically or time interval-wise built up and lowering power fields, which include energies in itself and transfers, radiates, unfolds powers. In the spirit-conditioned Gemüt, however, rests the mysterious center, which, when it has once become awakened, all physical and material concerns and limitations are overcome through the power of the awakened love, which can truly overcome everything. This immeasurable power of love in its purest creation form, however, is only ignited by the true knowledge in truth, which is never and never to be equated with even a tiny bit of a religious belief. You, human being of the earth, and of the present time, have lost the knowledge of this power of creation, and only very few are in possession of a distant memory of it. Even those who call themselves masters in their delusion, and teach you false teachings of the spirit and the meditation, have lost this knowledge. They all believe in godly forms and powers, and thoroughly misconceive the truth of the truth. Only a few of you can count, only a few who you can count on your two hands live in the knowledge of the true truth. Granted to them, however, is the creational happiness that through the truth became recognizable to them. So their sense is filled with deference and gratitude for everything which contains in itself all the venerable things of the creation, to which the knowing ones and wise ones offer their gratitude. Unfortunately, Earth human being, in your all too great masses at the present time, deference and gratitude find no more resonance at all, because the Earth humankind, which is carried by malicious selfishness, finds only values in material concerns, while the spiritual values are condemned as unvalues. Submissiveness amongst the believers of religion has taken the place of deference, and pride and haughtiness are deemed to be wisdom. So the Earth human beings lead themselves into the unreal, become believing in all kinds of evil, and empower themselves in self-elevation. You may be knowledgeable in your professions, Earth human being, also believing in all sorts of things, so that you may appear great before yourself and others. But what are you, in truth, in your greatness? Truly, a tiny flea surpasses you in this, for it never tries to want to appear more, or to want to jump farther than it is given to it by nature. But you, Earth human being, feel maliciously arrogant in your small knowledge, and believe that you must set yourself above others at all times. But how tiny is your knowledge when you try to set yourself above those who are given to you as pioneers and proclaimers of knowledge. How great are you, in truth, when you disregard their teaching and believe yourself to be more knowing than they. Therefore, pay attention to yourself. Pay attention to your haughtiness, which becomes a trap and hinders you from the true knowledge. Through your haughtiness, you constantly stumble in your environment that, as the bearer of the truth, makes you attentive of your dangerous unvirtue, which you deny and repudiate in your haughtiness and megalomania. Think, your ego love only hardly allows for a self-cognition, because your love is false, and it does not strive for selflessness, but rather for recognition and might. Therefore, Earth human being, you must be connected to teachers whose wisdom you should follow, recognizing them by your thinking. but you live under false pretenses of knowledge and wisdom, of false deference and false love. You presume to clothe these values in your own terms, strange and foreign to creation. You have changed everything within yourself into selfishness, into ego love, vanity, and haughtiness. But you are able to overcome everything only through true deference, through selfless love, and true deep knowledge. Love is the value of the absolute equalizedness and respectful recognition of all things when they are venerable and have proceeded from the creation. Everything which breathes life and is integrated into a becoming and passing is pulsed through by creational venerability. And whoever lives according to this knowledge, and also carries it forth, truly lives according to the given laws and recommendations within the framework of their fulfillment. With the naming of the creation and its laws, the way is at the same time shown to you, O earth human being, which you have to tread if you want to find it, follow, and preserve the truth again. Truly, this is, however, no longer known by the majority of the earth humankind of the present time. Just as little, however, do they know about the greatness of the spirit, as well as of the consciousness, and the Ur-Gewalt of their power. You, human being of the earth, however, do not recognize that all your thinking forms are tainted by your materialism, by your unbridled passions, your selfishness, and your excessive desires, through which all of you are bound to the world of the material, from whose bonds you are not able to free yourself, and thereby miss the creational stream. You are not able to free yourself on your own, in order to experience the joyful, developmental change of the true creational love, which raises you into the realm of the timeless. And since you are not able to do this by yourself, and therefore are also not able to achieve anything, from time to time powers are given to you who, for you, are active as truth proclaimers, prophets, through whom you are able to bring about the unfolding of the consciousness. For the unfolding of the spirit itself, on the other hand, you do not need external calmness, and solitude, because you only need them within yourself. So therefore, it is not necessary for you to go into the seclusion from the world, or to abstain from the daily work. Of necessity is only that daily you create calmness and solitude within yourself in a suitable measure, in order to occupy yourself in truth, with the truth for some time. Only in this manner does the beginning immense flood of the power of consciousness become active within you, which always remains victorious over all becoming and passing. Human being of the earth, the past clearly and precisely shows you that you have trodden a very terrible irrational way up to the present time. When you were given, in the course of the thousands of years, prophets, proclaimers of wisdom, and proclaimers of knowledge, they were very maliciously denied, slandered, ostracized, persecuted, tortured, burned, and murdered by you and your cultish religions. Hatred against the unfamiliar, hatred against the truth, irrational beliefs, unforbearance, joy in the vice, and barbarism, as well as fanaticism, were your murderous driving powers. You have turned right into unright, and made the love into hatred, misery, and hardship. Truth has been consciously transformed by you into erroneous assumptions and irrational teachings, into half-truths, and from them you have created distortions and erroneous views, which all in all resulted in a literalism of the untruth, which you have sowed lyingly as the light of the truth amongst the people. The ones rich in recognition, who indulged in higher knowledge of the truth, have been defiled and murdered by you, so that they could not become dangerous to your lies, because they, as knowing ones and wise ones, felt the obligation to uncover the irrational teachings deliberately created by you. All of this now, Earth human being, is necessary for you to overcome in the future if you want to be a true human being and a knowing one and wise one in true love and harmony with the creational laws and recommendations. You have to, however, make very much effort for it and evaluate the teaching of the Spirit presented to you in good measure. You have to absolutely separate wisdom and cult religion from each other, because together they can never form a oneness. Human being of the earth, break down your prejudices and your dangerous know-it-all attitude. Free yourself from your erroneous, rigid, cult religious teachings and live the truth. Show yourself worthy of your name, which says that you are the fulfilling one. Note: the word mensch, or human in English, stems from a cosmic language which means, quote, the fulfilling one. Omadam, law fulfiller. Om equals law, E equals and, Dam equals fulfiller, equals homo, equals mensch, equals human. Consider that illusion and being are the great opposites in your life. That the illusion, however, the cult religion, leads you into misery and damnation, whereas the being means life and love in the creational, fulfilling existence. Follow, therefore, in your usual everyday life, not only your external senses and the manifestations of the material goods and temptations, but rather listen to the senses of the inner and follow their directions, which are made recognizable to you in multifarious forms. But as they become recognizable to you, you shall not do the same as the past times, and disregard, fight, and besmirch them, but rather let them become free and evaluate them according to their instructions that are not only helpful to yourself, but to all earth human beings. The being is the law of the life. It is also the law of the inner and the law of the truth. The law of the truth, however, demands from all life forms in the creational values the fulfillment of the obligation to be helpful and good in the material levels as well as in the spiritual. Therefore, human being of the earth, you are given these words, given to your prophet in word and writing, so that he passes them on to you in love, in order to instruct you and to show you the way. Heed his teaching presented to you, its values and its truth, for it is the beginning and the end of all wisdom, as it was given to you already in times. Protect yourself, earth human being, from once again disregarding, falsifying, and destroying the teaching presented to you, because it is for one last time assigned to you through this prophet, and never will it occur another time. Up to now, you have murdered your truth proclaimers and prophets, and you also intend to do so with your prophet of the present time. But protect yourself from it, human being of the earth, for you thereby prepare your own downfall. Already, the coming years will bring you evil punishment for 2,000 years, for your actions of the past, for your disregarding of all the laws and recommendations of the creation, which you have gruesomely slandered in your wantonness and in your irrationality. This shall serve you as the end of my words, which I, Arahat Athersata, through the hand of your prophet, have spoken to you helpfully and in fulfillment of the duty.